Hello everyone and welcome to Cruise Corner, a podcast by Cruise Trade News. I'm your host Will Payne and today I'm joined by Explora Journeys President Anna Nash. Anna, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Will. Thank you for having me here with you today.
Not at all. So you've done a bit of travelling to get here. How's that been? All good?
Not far, just a little hop over from our HQ in Geneva where I now live. So back to London, my true home, let's just say. So it's good to be back.
Excellent. Well, as I say, it's great that you could join us today. So I did a bit of digging, and in an interview with Forbes earlier this year, you told the story of how you used to get to Churston Grammar School via a small passenger ferry, and now you're the president of one of the most exciting up-and-coming luxury cruise brands. Almost a rite of passage, do you think?
Yeah, it's funny. I think how life, in a way, goes full circle. So yes, indeed, I grew up in a very small village in Devon, and the only way for me to get to school was by taking this tiny little passenger ferry. I had to ring a bell to alert the ferryman that I was there, and it was often me alone or sometimes with one other. But it gave me that, I suppose, crossing the river every day was that rite of passage. That sense of adventure, maybe not so much in the winter when it was an open top ferry and you'd get soaked on the way to school, but very happy memories. But actually I grew up on the water. So water was omnipresent really. I learned to sail from a very, very young age. Amazing. So spent all of my spare time on the River Dart. Brilliant. So it is a full circle moment.
It's excellent. So it's probably safe to say then that sort of cruise and travel was always the aim for you. You went on to study tourism business management at the University of Gloucestershire. So what was that like?
I loved it. I really loved, in fact I loved school, loved the routine I suppose, but really enjoyed university and understanding about hospitality, and of course we're a people business, but I suppose putting some of that academic knowledge behind what I truly felt was my calling. I had 1 year in my third year that I had to actually go out and work in industry. So I worked for a tour operator, Tapestry Holidays, for an entire year, which I think was such incredible grounding. It really sort of, I suppose, cemented in me what I already knew, that this was definitely my calling, and had a great year, had the opportunity to travel and worked across all departments with them. And then went back for my final fourth year and came out with first class honours. I truly believe that in life, do something that you really feel very impassioned with and by, and I think then you'll find the sort of the fruits of your labour. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's so right. I mean, the big thing that we do here is trying to inspire the next generation, and we'll definitely come on to that later in the episode. But doing these things, it just seems like, throughout your whole sort of childhood and upbringing, it's always sort of led you to your position today. I mean, after you graduated, you had roles with Orient Express, Rosewood London, A Man, and now Explorer. So it's safe to say luxury courses through your veins. How have those positions, especially outside of cruise, sort of shaped your goals for Explorer? I mean, it's such an exciting up-and-coming brand. There's been so much noise around the brand since its launch. Obviously coming from a really strong position with MSC. So in terms of your position and the things you'd like to achieve, the things you have achieved, where are you at the moment?
I think there's three connecting themes, if you will, that I see there. Is one, luxury, yes, and we can come to that. Two, I've only ever actually worked in family-owned businesses, and I think there's a real nuance and understanding as to how they operate, because I think we make decisions very quickly because we don't have a huge board of directors to go through for those approvals. So they've always been family-owned businesses. But actually, another funny full circle moment, my first role after graduating was in Sea Containers House, which is now the Mondrian Hotel, an incredibly beautiful, iconic building right on the River Thames. So again, water being omnipresent. But I used to arrive into the office every day, and on one side of me were, or in fact both sides there were models of sea container ships, because Seaco, it was Seaco, Sea Containers House. And yes, my role was with Orient Express and about the journey, things that move, trains, river cruises was really my focus there. And then fast forward 25 years, now when I walk into the headquarters of MSC, I again have got models of ships on either side of me, one being container ships, because of course we're part of MSC in the cargo business, but also the MSC cruise division. So we have large models of
amazing.
Cruise ships as well. So it feels, in a way, again, going full circle. Yes, luxury has always been, I suppose, an area or segment that I've really sort of found my rhythm, and that's where I sort of feel comfortable.
Excellent. And the luxury market, as I mentioned, is super exciting at the moment. We're seeing the introduction of big hotel brands coming on board as well, sort of your Ritz-Carlton and your Four Seasons. Is there an opportunity there, do you think, for agents to sort of find new ways to market and maybe find new consumers to get on the water? And is that a bigger opportunity for the industry as a whole with these big hotel brands coming onto the ocean?
Absolutely, yeah. And I really welcome it and actually I worked on the conceptualization of Imminent before I departed to move over to Explora Journeys. But I do believe that those hospitality brands, those luxury brands, will help us, with Explora Journeys. We're very much on that quest to open up a new demographic, a new customer, new cohort's eyes into the benefits of ocean travel. And I do believe that those brands coming in will bring a new, much welcomed attention to ocean travel. So the stigma still exists around cruising. And I think I said to you earlier, we like to use the word ocean travel because I think it talks more about the emotion that you'll feel, perhaps some of that connection to the ocean. And yes, there are the naysayers that are still out there, and we're really working hard to convince them because once people have taken their first journey at sea, they don't look back, and this becomes a regular part of their sort of vacation time.
Definitely. And I think as well it's sort of challenging those misconceptions is so key, not just in one sector of the market, but across cruise in general. And we've noticed as well, we do a lot of industry research, and we find that multi-generational travel is really exciting at the moment. And it's such a great way to get the younger generation in, and also to get people who have travelled all their lives to try something new with a cruise. We find that a lot of land-based travellers may have done safaris, or that might be their sort of holiday, so you point them towards the expedition sector for a sort of a safari at sea, as you would. And those who do like the finer things in life in terms of the 5-star hotels, the luxury resorts, they can be funneled towards the luxury market at sea. And as you say, with all these exciting brands coming on, it is a really exciting time for the industry.
There's a journey for everyone. There's a different itinerary for everyone. But I truly believe that the cruising industry per se has still got its best years yet to come. I really believe that brands like ourselves, Explora Journeys, are really working to make ocean travel part of the modern zeitgeist when it comes to travel, to really make it part of people's decision-making process, because we offer absolutely everything and more that you offer on land. The value for money first and foremost, but I think for our guests, and especially in that sort of upper luxury segment, time is really their most valuable commodity.
Absolutely.
And of course, when everything is included for you on the ship becomes your destination, but actually we still move you. In a way, it gives those busy working professionals that permission. They have to give themselves permission just to slow down and let the journey, take you. Yeah. So definitely, I think a movement and a real positive momentum that I'm seeing with our industry.
Brilliant, exciting. In terms of momentum, it's a very exciting year coming up for Explora. Yes. The launch for Explora III, which I think safe to say the whole industry is looking forward to. Yeah. What can travel agents expect? What can the industry expect?
Well, I mean, I think let's just take a step back. It's incredible to look at where Explora Journeys is now. Of course, Explora 1 was launched in 2023, Explora 2 in 2024. So this year, 25, has really been our housekeeping year. I've been on board for now just over a year, really looking to make sure that our systems, procedures, the way we sell, the way we enable our trade partners to sell us easily, steam-free, has been a key sort of part of that. So yes, indeed, Explora 3's launch will very much be the midpoint of the vision. It's the third in our fleet of 6. And then once we have Explora 3 launching, we then have 2 in 27 and final Explora 6 in 2028. So a big growth period ahead for us. Super exciting. The team with me on board have really now been thinking about daily work, I suppose, with that 6-ship mindset. We've got to already think about scale. We're already selling up to Explora 5, so we have itineraries live. Explora 6, we will start to launch her sailings next year for sales. So, no, Explora 3 for us, I think, is very much a moment to be proud. And, you know, for me, it's incredible to be back in the UK, which is one of our key markets. It's a well-established cruise market. And I'm just grateful for all the support that we've had from our trade partners, because they were outselling us and behind us before we even had a product on the water. Yeah. So they believed in the vision and they've really been with us on this journey. And we wouldn't be where we are today without them. And in fact, it gives me great pride and an immense gratitude to our partners, but also my team, because both Explora 1 and Explora 2 were at absolute full capacity in the summer season in the Mediterranean, which is just phenomenal, really, to see this embrace of a new brand, doing something different on the water and perhaps challenging the norms. And, you know, to that point, Will, I'd say that we sit very much in a path of our own. If you look at one side, would be more of the very beautiful but legacy brands of cruise, perhaps a more traditional service, white glove service. On the right side, you might see some of the hotel brands on land. And then right down the middle is Explora Journeys, and I can see us pulling interest from both sides. The more traditional legacy brands with existing experienced cruisers trying us for the first time, but also land-based guests coming to us for the first time, taking their first sailing. And that new to cruise market represents over 30% of our business, and it's growing.
Oh, wow, that is very interesting. I mean, the new to cruise market is so exciting. It's exactly what we like to hear, and especially with a brand like Explora, as you say, has been on the water for too long. To be coming over already must be amazing.
And I think that's because we're offering something different. Our marketing is slightly perhaps different to what you'd expect from a traditional cruise brand. And it's really interesting to see when I'm on board chatting to those first time cruisers. What made you why are you here? What convinced you? And I think it's the way we talk about being a floating hotel whose address is the ocean, and that we move you every day. But it was definitely the strong food and beverage concepts that we have, the choice that we have, because we're a mid-sized ship but with a smaller number of guests, but we wanted to have that high space to guest ratio and offer the amenities, and of course the ocean wellness and the fitness facilities, which I really believe resonates with this new generation of seafarers.
It's really exciting. So we've spoken a lot about the luxury market, how much is coming on. Very exciting year for you guys coming up, exciting year for cruise in general. Where do you see the luxury cruise going in 2026 and beyond? Are there any trends that you guys are seeing at the moment that you think might shape how people travel in 26?
I mean, I think I've talked a lot about the stigma and the relevance, let's just say, of this sector. And I definitely see this wave of momentum and the sort of the yet to cruisers taking their first foray to the oceans. I think also we're seeing the booking window is really squashing in, let's just say, for want of a better word. We're seeing people, well, I guess for Explora Journeys, our average age at the moment is around 56. So they're a working professional, which means they're bound by the rhythm of their business. So when they can see that little pocket of time that they can take, they'll grab it. And often it's in a month's window of booking. It's often within a 6-week window. And they're willing to pay the premium to get into an upgraded suite at last minute. And I definitely see that will continue as a trend. The other thing we're also seeing is the younger generation taking to the oceans for the first time. Brilliant. And I think, again, because we offer this incredible optimization of time, you can see a variety of different destinations with ease without having to keep going back to the airport, going through all the logistics of sort of international travel. The ship moves with you. So there's a younger generation as well that we're really seeing now beginning to adopt, and maybe they've been as part of a multi-generational group and that they're now branching out on their own.
That's brilliant. We've definitely seen that trend on our side of things is, with some of these big ocean ships that can cater for passengers as young as 3 and 4 all the way up to the grandparents, and getting that family on board. I've done it before with my youngest sister being just under 10, and my grandparents up into the 70s and 80s, and sort of when you be able to do a holiday all together in one place, and maybe the grandparents go to the whiskey bar or the wine bar while the kids go to the kids club, but having all those people on one trip. And at the time, my wife and I were thinking, this is brilliant, but we'd love to try maybe this product or that product. And I'm sure my grandparents thinking, actually, we'd like to try this river cruise, we'd like to try this. And having that all in one place, that introduction, and then branching out into the rest of the sector is such a key part of cruising, I feel. So earlier on in our chat, obviously we mentioned your extremely storied and successful career and how it's got you to where you are today. And something we're very passionate about at Cruise Trade News is inspiring the next generation of people who work in cruise and travel. So if you had any advice for someone who's just starting out, maybe they've just got their degree in tourism business management, or they've just started their role. Else, what would that advice be if you had one piece of advice?
A few pieces, actually. I think one is follow your dreams. I think we spend an increasing amount of time in our professional lives away from, our families. And those sort of personal commitments. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into any successful career. So I think choose wisely, go with your heart. What do you enjoy doing? Where do you feel that you're most passionate and you will thrive? And I think that goes hand in hand because then you enjoy what you do. But I would say as well, most of all, be curious. You've got to be curious. Go and listen and learn from every single person that you meet. It's really important to be out there, learn from others, and take that back. And I think if you haven't got curiosity, then it's not going to take you anywhere. Absolutely. So I think be curious, be present. For me, it's really important to be in the office, have a voice, volunteer, push yourself into challenges that maybe, do challenge you, but I think help you grow and stretch yourself. So don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Yeah.
And even maybe try things that you might not think of for you. Yes. Because as we was discussing before, in my career anyway, I had different ideas of where I'd go with my journalism degree, and now I'm here. I never thought I'd be a cruise and travel journalist, but I absolutely love it, and it was all down to trying different things and something that I didn't think I'd like, and you never know what you might like. Things change, and sports keep an open mind, I think.
Be open to change. Be open to failure, because by the way, we learn from failing. Absolutely. So I think it's just put yourself into situations that feel uncomfortable and challenge you. And I think then that's when you really do the deep dive in learning and growing.
Absolutely. And I always think it's never too late to learn something new.
Definitely not. I think it's to keep learning.
Absolutely. I mean, we're always learning new things, especially in cruise and travel, because things change a lot. So to try and keep your finger on the pulse is tricky sometimes. Anna, I could talk to you all day, but we are coming towards the end of the episode.
It's gone so quick.
I know. It's honestly, we could continue chatting for hours. But one way we like to just round off our episodes is just by giving our listeners a few highlights from our discussions. So, for me, if there's something that people take away, one of the key things is, especially for travel agents and looking at the luxury market next year, is this resurgence of the younger cruiser coming into the market. Almost so, don't be afraid to pitch these luxury cruises to people who might be a little bit younger. You never know their situation. They might be really interested in one of these big luxury, big ticket items. Also, I think it's pretty safe to say a key thing to take away is the excitement around Explorer at the moment. The amount of ships you guys have got coming on in the next few years is very exciting, especially next year with Explora 3. So to everyone listening, please keep an eye and ear out on CTN and across the travel sphere to see more updates about Explora 3. We'll definitely be covering that very extensively. And Anna, if there's one thing that our listeners could take away from this that you'd like them to remember, what would that be?
I think for me, as I said earlier, I think our industry has got its best years yet to come. And I think, we're seeing that adoption of the land-based guests taking to the ocean for the first time. And I really think there's a huge untapped market just waiting who wouldn't normally consider ocean travel for their choice of vacation. And there's this secret, this magic that only happens on sea. And I see it. I try and spend as much time as I can on our ships. And you see the minute guests board and they leave the shore behind and they board the ship, their shoulders drop. You can see they suddenly feel very free and very open. They become more social. They become more open. And there's this secret on board where time suddenly feels like it's not your enemy, it's on your side, and somehow time is stretched on board. And I think that's the magic. You're not battling through traffic, getting an Uber, chasing a reservation across town, because the ship is your destination, and we move you to the most incredible destination the next day. So I think it's just thinking about how we can best package this message to either existing cruisers to take their next journey, or that yet to cruise market. But for me, it's an incredible industry to be in, and I think, as I said to you earlier, once you join the cruise industry, you do not leave. And I think that's the energy and the confidence that we want to give to our trade partners, but of course those guests that are looking to spend their quality time with us.
Brilliant. Well, I think that is a lovely way to finish us off. Anna, thank you so much for taking the time for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll absolutely have you on again in the future. Maybe this time next year we can discuss the launch of Explora 3. But
there you go.
Wish you all the safe travels onward, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good to see you.